Make sure you're subscribed to JerCrispy.
What's up, y'all? It shows the most that does the most. JerCrispy. We're back in that video. Apps everyone used till they become paid. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. It's gonna pop on the screen. Let's see what apps that we had to was free. Now we have to pay them.
Remember when the best apps used to be free? Yeah, about that. First it's, here dude, take everything. Then it's, that'll be $9.99 a month, please. Today we're speedrunning apps that went from beloved to just another greedy service. And these weren't niche apps either. These were daily tools for millions of casuals and professionals, basically anyone who loved not paying for basic features. These days, it's kind of hard to imagine social media without TikTok. In fact, it's hard to imagine any kind of content without the short form that dominates everything. But TikTok's dominance isn't just about its algorithm, it's about its editor. CapCut, made by TikTok's parent company, it was basically TikTok's...
Man, CapCut, man. I still use CapCut to this day, man. That's why I edit all my music videos at. And that's why I be getting them amazing thumbnails for y'all.
Twin app. Templates tuned for TikTok trends, heavy cross-promotion from the platform itself. If you wanted to make a TikTok, this was the app. Every trending dance, meme, or sped-up audio clip had a ready-made template sitting there for you to use. You didn't even need editing skills. High schoolers, small businesses, even parents who barely knew how TikTok worked could suddenly push out polished videos. Best part? Totally free. Until September 2022. It started off innocuous enough. They started CapCut Pro, which had premium features. Okay, standard stuff. But then in August 2024, they killed free cloud storage. Up to 1 gigabyte. Gone. And forced users to pay. Then came the strangest change. Watermarks. In some regions you could still export clean, in others the CapCut logo was stamped on your video, and eventually you had to pay to get rid of it. For everyday users, it instantly made edits look cheap. For creators, it was worse. Those watermarks scared people away from using templates, views dropped and payouts dried up. A system where some had been making up to $1,000 suddenly felt kind of broken.
Damn.
By July 2025, a US-specific bill dropped, partly to dodge TikTok's regulatory headaches, but that opened a new can of worms. Terms of service, content licensing, cloud costs. For most apps, this is a point where the story ends with everyone left. But not here. Despite the locks and the paywalls, CapCut is actually still thriving. Creators whined and moaned, but they stayed. Because posting late costs more than $9.99. It's still the fastest, easiest to use editor for short-form content. At first, CapCut felt like a gift. And then the locks appeared. Most of us kept that gift and learned to live with those locks. Next up, the last great free music app that wasn't piracy. Google Play Music. In 2011,
I ain't lying to you. Google Play, was actually a free app. I used to play that shit every time we was on a family trip, saying, because YouTube used to not be jumping. This before we even got Spotify, Pandora, and all that other stuff. This was the spot to go to get if you want to listen to some music.
Music. Later rebranded into Play Music. It gave you a personal cloud locker for your MP3s, up to 50,000 tracks free, anywhere, no strings, and after Google bought Songza, a service built entirely around mood-based playlists, they folded that straight into Play Music as free, ad-supported radio. Suddenly, you had curated playlists for every moment, like Spotify, but without the bill. By the mid-2010s, streaming was becoming the default way people listened to music. Spotify was exploding, Apple Music was finding its footing, and both were built around the same idea. Pay a monthly fee and get access to whatever catalog the platform had licensed. It worked, but it also meant your library was basically rented. Cancel the subscription and the music disappeared. Google Play Music became popular because it offered something totally different. Instead of relying only on what the platform gave you, it let you build a cloud-based library out of the music you already owned. Maybe it was CDs you'd ripped, rare live recordings from a show, or random MP3s you'd hoarded back in the LimeWire days. Play Music let you upload them all, up to 50,000 tracks, and stream them anywhere. In an era where streaming was about platforms controlling access, Google carved out a separate lane, a service that felt like freedom, where your personal collection followed you everywhere. But hey, Google being Google, they couldn't let joy exist for too long.
That's
And the
crazy.
sign started slowly at first. In 2019, Google said that YouTube Music would be a pre-installed default on all new Android devices. Okay, no problem. Then the transfer tool launched in May 2020. That means you can move your uploads, purchases, playlists, and recommendation recordings from Play Music to YouTube Music. Okay, fine.
I don't even use YouTube Music. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I don't even use that stuff, like, just to keep it real, bro. I couldn't say. It's no point in you doing that. You can just go on YouTube and just look it up. Especially if you at home. What's the point of you doing that? Now, if you on the way, then niggas probably still want to use it. SoundCloud and that Google Play stuff, I would never do that.
Really need to, but thanks for the offer.
Play YouTube Music,
And then,
bro.
August 2020, they dropped the bombshell that YouTube Music will replace Play Music by December 2020. And by December, the service completely shut down.
Damn.
Now, this wouldn't be on the list if YouTube Music worked just as well as the old app. You know, a new UI that might be annoying, but nothing too bad, right? But the free locker itself died with Play Music. While YouTube Music had uploads, the old workflow music store was gone. And the biggest crime of them all was background play on mobile was now gone. No wonder I Miss Play Music threads are still everywhere. Play Music felt like freedom. Then it vanished kinda overnight. You needed to buy premium to access those features. It wasn't the first time Google, and if YouTube Music's current feedback is anything to go by, it was always primed for a disaster. It was a textbook Google move. Kill a good thing, replace it with something slower, clunkier, and less free. To see other examples, in fact, we have a whole video showing Google being the thief of joy, or something like that, so go check it out. Speaking of another giant that collapsed, Twitter. When Elon Musk bought it in 2023, the internet let out a proactive groan. What was one of the most popular social media sites was in the hand of a man who had ideas. A lot of ideas. Good or bad, that kinda remained to be seen. Some people thought there might be even good ideas. Well, Twitter suffered as well. Twitter turned into whatever this OnlyFans bot farming cesspool it has become now, and Twitter turned into whatever this engagement farm is now. But behind the chaos, one loss hurt professionals the most. TweetDeck. It was a multi-column dashboard that allowed people to monitor.
The fuck is TweetDeck, bruh? Shit, this must was back in when nigga went a little ass nigga. I don't know about no TweetDeck.
Lines, lists, search GMs. While it might not seem like anything big to most standard users, it was a huge tool used by journalists, newsrooms, social media teams for real-time coverage. At first, Twitter support announced a new TweetDeck and that they'd be adding it in 30 days. Users must be verified to use it, which was already a bad sign because you were getting the service from a lot of people. And then the rename begins. TweetDeck becomes X Pro, which, you know, just honestly sounds stupid. X Pro was hidden behind X Premium, and X Premium is Elon Musk's paid subscription costing about $8 to $11 a month.
Damn.
And it's required to unlock
Speaking of that nigga, speaking of him, man, ain't you gotta buy some? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Ain't you gotta buy just to make a freaking a community or something like that, man? Like that's crazy.
Check. And how many folks are paying for that? Somewhere between 650 and 1.4 million. Out of more than 600 million total users, we're talking less than 1%. And that was the final nail in the coffin. Immediately, big news outlets like The Washington Post and The Verge confirmed the cutoff. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but if you start to wonder why all of a sudden Twitter, going from Twitter to X, produced a way lower quality of independent journalism, well, now you know why. All of a sudden, it went from this place that could curate high-quality content to being stuck behind a paywall and simultaneously becoming a place that was encouraging engagement farming.
Damn.
And well, there you have it. And its brightest TweetDeck was the free control room for all the breaking news. Now stuck behind a paywall, and X is now more shallow and toxic than ever before. But none of these match up to the worst example.
And what is that?
Before I tell you that, if you're enjoying the video, subscribe.
Oh yeah, make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, run the road to 500. Do that for me, man.
You won't be surprised to know that this has happened many a time. It's happened before, and I've got another example. A popular company betraying their base. In fact, let's go back to the early phases of the internet. Image Shack was launched in 2003.
What is that?
It was the go-to image host for forums, blogs, MySpace, even eBay. If you saw a little frog logo on an...
I know about MySpace and eBay, but the fuck was this? I was a 2005. I'm 2005. I ain't no 2003, 2005.
embedded image, that was Image Shack. At its peak, it had 28 million monthly visitors. If you grew up in the 2000s internet, Image Shack links were everywhere. On gaming forums, tutorials, even early meme culture. That little frog watermark was a universal language. People trusted it the way we trust Imager or Google Drive now. But in 2013, as the internet was beginning to change and evolve into this new monster, Image Shack ended their anonymous uploads feature, meaning now you had to have an account to upload pictures onto it. And then just 2 months later, they hit the big one. It was now switched to a subscription model. There were no longer free uploads.
I feel like when people does the switch up on the subscription, I feel like they only doing that because they need extra money so they can get these new features onto this stuff. Like they sitting in the office, like, damn, we gotta get some new features. I know our app is free, but we have to get something, out there to have some more money so we can add new features to the stuff. Like let's do some more collabs with people.
That just wasn't enough. They started officially purging every free account, stopping them from delivering images to external sites, blogs and forums. And in 2016, they straight up started destroying these accounts. Users were scrambling to recover their data before being deleted. Entire chunks of internet history, guides, tutorials, memories were erased. Losing it wasn't just losing. It was like someone came into your attic and torched all the family photo albums. The early web wasn't archived properly, so when Image Shack pulled the plug, huge swathes of cultural history disappeared forever. Speaking of things from a bygone era, anyone remember the pandemic? Oh god, I don't want to think of it either. But Tiger King, masks and self-isolation weren't the only things that were staple of pandemic life. Everything, nearly every aspect of life, work, small business, high school, colleges, even therapy, all moved online. And this is where video apps shone. And none greater than Zoom. Sending and receiving the Zoom.
Boy, what y'all know about that Zoom, man? Shoot, I used to be on Zoom on a regular basis. And GoogleMeet.com. Especially with Google Meet. Google Duo? Yeah, Google Meet and Google Duo. So them bitches used to be too dumb back in quarantine. Say, I remember I had I had an iPhone. But I was still fucking with the GoogleMeet.com on my computer. Because we were just doing the FaceTime and other shit. So that shit was so fucking funny, saying GoogleMeet.com.
Link was as critical a part of the pandemic as breathing. From 10 million users daily in 2019 to 300 million in April 2020. It came to rule our lives. What made it so much different and better than every other app that was available at the time was one-click joins, consistent audio and video reliability, and just easy. No accounts, nothing, just share a link and the other person can join. And because Zoom was free, it became the great equalizer. High schools used it for classes, grandparents used it for birthdays, therapists used it for sessions. Everyone, from Fortune 500 CEOs to kindergarten kids, were on the same platform. It turned into a verb. Let's Zoom, which is a holy grail of branding. For a while, it felt like Zoom could have owned the entire communication market if they wanted to. But when the pandemic started to lift up and people started going back to normal life, normal face-to-face stuff, slowly Zoom started introducing limits to what you could do. Before 2020, free accounts had an unlimited one-to-one meeting for up to 30 hours. I mean, I don't know what you were doing on a video call with someone over 30 hours, but hey, that's your life. They had a 40-minute cap on group calls, more than 3. It was annoying, but we got over it. But in May 2022, they inexplicably imposed a 40-minute meeting on one-on-one. And immediately, people started going crazy. There was a huge backlash as everyone scrambled around for workarounds, starting to understand what rules did Zoom exactly change, and at first, the forums talked about workarounds to the 40-minute limit. Slowly, they just started suggesting moving to FaceTime or Discord or other different companies. And the funny part about all this is that the video meetings didn't really die with the end of the pandemic. In fact, the pandemic fundamentally changed how we interacted with each other forever. But Zoom just dropped the ball completely. Now, Microsoft Teams is the universal language of office meetings. Working from home and remote work is...
Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media, pop on the screen. We're on the road to 500, and I'm out.